Hi everyone. So as you may know, today is World Maternal Mental Health Day, and rather than that just sounding like a load of old bumble or whatever you say, jargon basically, I want to actually look at some of the themes behind it and why it's really important that we mark World Maternal Mental Health Day, but also this week in the UK is Maternal Mental Health Alliance Awareness Week. Both mouthfuls, but both very, very important. And the theme today is all about village. And as you know, the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. And that's something I can really relate to. So I've got my fabulous friend Sarah Cobham, who knows all too well about creating villages and how important they are. So can you just tell everyone a bit
Yeah,
about what you do?
I run Dreamtime Baby Massage, and we not only specialise in providing a service to mums who come along with very little babies until they're about 6 months old for the baby. It's actually for the mum. It's always about providing a safe space so that mums can feel a connection, not just with their babies, but with other women who are going through the same experiences. Picking up on what you're saying about it takes a village. I think that's a bit of a platitude, isn't it? It goes out on memes and on posters and stuff. And when I read that, I just think, but what does that actually mean? Well, for me, it means making sure that every single woman that comes to our groups at Dreamtime Baby Massage are connected to other women, and we do that in really, really practical ways. We sit on sofas in a circle, we drink tea, we eat homemade cake, and if I've picked up on that one woman might be feeling a little bit low, I might always say, "How are you doing? What's going on with you?" Or if I know that something is happening with them that I know another woman in that circle is experiencing at the same time, I will put them together and just kind of make sure that they're sitting together, and might bring up a conversation or a topic that I know that they've got in common, so that they've got an immediate sense of connection. And when we run groups, or when I run groups at Dreamtime Baby Massage, and when I train my teachers to do that, we're really, really aware of reading the mood in a group, because when women get together, they can actually solve any problem at all, down to childcare, down to marriage guidance, down to what do you do? Do you breastfeed? Do you bottle feed? What are the issues? Or having sex after having a baby? All these really intimate things that possibly you can't discuss with your husband or with a health visitor or the doctor. We create peer support groups, and so women that come to us and feel isolated and don't have their own village, we create that village. And well, they do it, but we just enable that to happen.
Yeah, and I think it's so important to find your own little village in the world,
Yeah.
because it can feel quite vast, and that there's just so many people and other people achieving or doing things. But I know I spoke at a Mama Talks event yesterday as part of the week, Maternal Mental Health Week, and it was just really nice to be in a supportive room where you could not just talk about the rubbish stuff, but also the really funny stuff.
Yeah.
Whether you've wanted to kind of go out and buy kinky underwear and have a rampant sex life, or you've wanted to pierce your own nipple just to feel a bit more human again. And
Yeah.
but it all sounds so like ridiculous, but sometimes it's even just it's the serious stuff that we need people around, but it's also some of the ridiculous thoughts and
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
situations that I
Yeah.
think you find yourself in when you've had a child. It's not necessarily just about the child,
No.
like just
No.
bringing them up
Yeah.
into the world.
Yeah.
It's you
Absolutely.
rediscovering yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely. And in actual fact, when we sit in that circle, we hardly ever talk about children. It's and somebody said, I gave a class yesterday, and we were talking about ghost stories, for example, and all that kind of spiraled, and you've got everyone's got a ghost story, and then that went on to Game of Thrones, and then it went on to do if your baby has blue poo rather than green poo, you need to go to the GP. And it's that shared humour, and we were talking about going out in Wakefield and the last time you went out, and would you go out in Leeds, or would you get in that frock again, does it matter? And I think the village, like our bodies, change. So they change in shape, they change in personalities that come in, they change in expectations, they change in aspirations. And certainly Dreamtime Baby Massage, we completely accept that. It's totally non-judgmental, so women feel safe. So they can almost, as their babies grow, they're rebirthing as well a lot of the time, because they're finding themselves after becoming a mother. And what does that mean? Well, there are as many definitions as there are women in the world who have babies, whether they're birth babies or adopted babies. And it's like, who am I? Who am I? Where is my sense of humour? Where is my sex drive? Where have my boobs gone? You know, who am I? Where am I? And what am I doing? And that is about the village. You know, that is about the connectivity between women who end up loving each other and caring. And they are, I'll tell you what, they are there at 3 o'clock in the morning on Facebook or WhatsApp Messenger. They only have to go, is anybody up? Ping, 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 I'm up. What you thinking about? And they, you know, they just have those conversations. They are there for each other. When their husbands or their partners are snoring and will not get up with that child, women are there for each other 24 hours a day.
Yeah. And one thing that I don't know why it's sprung to my mind, but instead of measuring penises, we measure our prolapse and groups. It's kind of like, just to make you feel better. Yeah. That's what I've always loved. And even just coming to just a few of your sessions of baby massage, well, it's much more than just baby massage. Like, I've still connected with people and made friends for life, and it's those kind of connections. And for me, it's always finding a space where nobody's shocked about your history or what you're going through. And it's not like, because I think very, like, medically we get diagnosed with certain illnesses, especially mental health illnesses when it comes to me. And whilst I appreciate a diagnosis so I can understand it, it scares a lot of people. Whereas actually, when I say and describe a really horrific psychotic episode, I've been surprised at how many women have gone through that.
Absolutely.
And that, to me, is much more than any medical professional even giving me drugs or pills, just to have that sense of awareness that we're in it together.
Yeah. And I know that's often an overused phrase, and I know that certain politicians have sort of taken that as their own, but actually women are in it together, because sometimes they themselves may not have actually experienced what you're talking about, what another member of the group is talking about, but they still listen. They listen, and they don't judge. They really don't, because it is a case of there, but by the grace of God, you know. So, and I just think we create a situation where we're learning from one another respectfully, and there's nourishing, there's cherishing, there's laughter. And going back to the idea of the village, there's all different personalities in the village and all different roles in the village. And without all of those different people and all those different states of mind, we wouldn't be whole. We wouldn't be a complete picture. So yeah, kind of working with women perinatally and postnatally, for me, it's a huge honour. You know, women choose to come to Dreamtime Baby Massage because the reputation of what we do precedes us. And I think that's what makes us different from a lot of other groups.
And how would you recommend, if like other mums out there may be struggling to find their village, how would you recommend? It's a tough one.
It's a really tough one, because often women recommend good groups, but if you're feeling isolated, and a lot of mums do that, especially if they are suffering from mental health or postnatal depression, which can sometimes move towards postpartum psychosis, that's when the medical professional obviously need to get involved. But when you're in that grey area where it's just a little bit more than baby blues, but it's more postnatal depression. It's really hard to acknowledge that something's wrong. So I would really advise that people just women talk to other women, just their friends, just ask, are there any groups, are there any sort of baby massage groups that you would recommend? Or there are other good groups in Wakefield as well, but I don't think any of them have the experience or certainly longevity. We've been around for 20 years, and they certainly don't have the training that my teachers have. And just to sort of go along, and if you don't feel comfortable, I know it's maybe difficult to say, but have the courage to not go back. I would say don't expose yourself to a situation where you're feeling uncomfortable or judged or not listened to or not cherished, and just it's really tough to find the right group for you.
And I know it took me a lot of, because I got pregnant by accident and moved from Sheffield to Wakefield, which is just in Yorkshire. It's not a massive distance, but even just being in a new area, not knowing anyone, then suddenly being a mum and just being somebody's pregnant new girlfriend, it was really difficult. But I tried a lot of different things, and eventually you find your place, and you start to accept that actually, I won't fit in everywhere. Just because I'm a mum doesn't mean that all mums will warm to me and I'll warm to all mums. It's knowing that we're still our individual self, even though we have a child. It's trying to feel people who bring you up.
Absolutely. And I think, I don't want people to think, well, actually I am shouting out about how good Dreamtime Baby Massage is, because the mood of the group or the accessibility of the group is always dependent on the facilitator. So if you've got a facilitator that listens, that cares, that shows empathy, because they genuinely do care, and they take time out for you, and that, if you stay behind and you need to have a proper gin wag, if you've got somebody like that, then that's the starting point. Whereas I think if you go to, like you're saying, Sophie, if you go to other groups and just try lots of things out, trust your gut. Trust your gut, really seriously, despite what might be going on in your head because of all these hormones that are flying around. Your gut will often tell you if you feel that is the right place to be.
Yeah. So, and I will pop some helplines and also a link to Dreamtime Baby Massage in the caption below. Anyway, we have all got to scoot off because we are super busy women juggling many things. But if you've got any questions, comment below, and I'm sure Sarah, hopefully I can pull Sarah in to answer some of them. But I'll see you all soon.